Yo, so the opinions and views expressed in this podcast are that of our own and the future Bachelor podcast only, and not affiliated with any outside party or entity or anything like that. This fun podcast, though, may include some adult language.
Future Bachelor podcast.
But enough with all that, you know. Why don't we talk about what we like to do around here? You know what I'm saying? Cause it's that time to talk about Bachelor stuff on our show and more. But before we get into all that, this show provides all the Bachelor and reality TV drama you've been missing while we're in the off season of the Bachelor, Bachelorette, or whatever show's coming next. It's the Bachelorette, we know that, but it's written down like this. But before we get talking about Bachelor, YouTube, why don't you go ahead and subscribe, smash that thumbs up button, and hit that notification bell so you can get notified every time we drop new Bachelor content, just like this. And if you just did, what? No. Yeah, huge shout out to you. Ooh, air horns for you. You know, we like to shout out the people that leave comments on our videos. So last week we had some of the OG Nancy Drew crew come into the comments. We had Catherine Ann, Kathleen Kent, and Marion SP. But Chelsea Allen, where you at this week?
Where we miss you, girl?
I mean, we got the rest of them repping the crew. So, and then returning, we got Livy Burke in the comments, and she let us know that you were right. It was Livy, short for Olivia. So,
damn,
yeah,
I love being right.
Yeah, we got the crew. So, yeah, if you want to shout out on the next episode, all you got to do is just leave a comment and leave a dope comment. Because if it's dope enough, we're gonna make you comment of the week. You know, there wasn't anything that like anyone left a comment.
Out.
You know, I love when people just say what's up and all that stuff, but you know, if you have like a thought that you want us to expand on, leave that in the comments and it could be comment of the week. So we can talk about that a little bit. But V, why don't we get into what's going on in Bachelor Nation this week? What's going on?
Well, the biggest news I will say out of Bachelor Nation is a couple I really thought was endgame. Like I really thought they were, you know, the couple, and they were probably, I would think, you know, one of the more solid couples from this past season of Bachelor in Paradise have ended their engagement, and that is Brandon Jones and Serene Russell. They've been together, I think, for like 10-ish months.
Not a long time. You would think they would at least make it a year. What?
It's interesting to me because, like, you know, they, not long after getting off the show, when they were doing all the press, like right after the show and being engaged and stuff, they did talk about, you know, the change from being together for like long filming days, like, you know, like 17, 20-hour days, something, you know, crazy shit like that. Being together for like long filming days, like, you know, for 2 weeks straight or however long Bachelor in Paradise is. And then, you know, that shifting and then having to deal with like things outside of that paradise bubble.
Do we know exactly what happened, or are we just kind of like thinking like it just fizzled out?
I'm guessing there's just maybe like some things that they weren't able to, you know, work out because from their post, it seems like they're both hurting. Like they made a little joint Instagram post, and it said that after many months,
who's hurting more?
I don't know.
What a question. I would have to say it's probably Brandon. I don't see just. All right, this is my opinion of what I saw on Bachelor in Paradise, what I saw of Brandon, and also Serene just being beautiful as hell.
Yeah.
You know, getting a girl like Serene, you know, on paper, things always look better on paper, right? So it's like, you know, you get the announcements of these cast members from this like latest seasons that year, and then they're going on Bachelor in Paradise. Maybe they're in each other's circles, seeing each other, vibing. Everyone's kind of off of a high of like, ooh, that's that person from this season. I don't really know them yet, but they're all this little stardom happening in that first year. And then you go on Bachelor in Paradise, and it's I think we've talked about it in the past, but it's like going on vacation for like a week or two and meeting someone out there on like the first night, and then you guys are hanging out the whole week. Yeah. And
it's like a vacation fling, but like
exactly,
on steroids.
Exactly. And it was like a very like, I mean, you know, very lovey-dovey stage, almost like it's a high, you know, and you don't want it to ever end. So there's like that aspect of it. You know, just what I noticed, it was almost like he caught a firefly in a jar and just wasn't gonna let it go.
Right.
That's the way I kind of like saw Brandon and Serene. Like, I mean, obviously she was very, you know, she reciprocated, you know, that type of love and stuff. But I don't know. Like, it just seemed, the way Brandon talked, it was almost, I hate to say the word, but it was almost like, it's just because I don't know a better word for it, but the word goes around these days, like kind of like simping for people. And I don't know if that's like the right term for this, but
I mean, I think he definitely was a simp for her.
Yeah, like he was going over the top. Like it was just, and I would too if I got like Serene probably. So I'm not just saying this is something he do, but
yeah, no, I don't think that's a bad thing to say, really.
Yeah, and when you're dealing with like people like influencers like this and stuff, you know, you're going to have some people maybe being like more popular out there, especially when you're back in the real world. Like you're maybe getting attention from these guys or you're getting attention from these girls and everyone loves you and stuff. And it just starts kind of like coming in between. Maybe you start getting a little jealous. Maybe it starts like that jealousy starts turning into like something unattractive. I don't know. Like there's a balance. There's a balance. Balance is like a huge word of today's episode, but there's a balance in you know, being totally in love with someone, but also you want to miss someone too, right?
Right. I definitely agree with that, because like I feel like I'm someone like in my relationships, I've definitely been like, I like consistent communication, but like I'm okay with not having to like be, you know, attached to somebody's hip. Like I do truly like, I like the idea of missing someone. Like Ariana Grande's song NASA really speaks to me, because it's all about like, I need some space, like I want to like miss you, whatever kind of idea. And I think, you know, when you're in these sort of situations like Bachelor in Paradise, where you have no like you're just like literally tied to each other, and they especially were like on top of each other the entire time together. Like they connected from the jump and didn't like ever really waver. I think, you know, you get into the real world and then things look different. And then you're getting a lot of pressure from a lot of different places. Like, I mean, they were trying to be pressuring them into like mirroring them right on the show, like at the after show.
Well, they like the producers know more than anything that they're off the high of the show. It's like, let's stoke this fire. Maybe we can make it into like something huge, you know? Right.
And I mean, and they like, you know, volleyed that back, and so that they wanted to do it with their families. Their families would never forgive them. They're going to get married in 2024. And they were like, really like, they talked in some interviews about like planning that and figuring out what time of year. And then it is interesting to like see that go from all of that. And I guess I haven't like really checked on their stuff up until this news popping up now, or recently. I feel like there had been pictures of them maybe several months back, being together and stuff like that. But yeah, I want to know if like there's anything that came down, or if there's just maybe some like differences that they couldn't mesh. Like maybe they just really realized that like maybe we aren't the right people for each other.
Yeah, and I actually totally respect that, actually, because it's like, you know, you could and that's why it's like I respect it, because maybe it didn't make it a year. Maybe they weren't trying to hit these milestones. It was just like, you know, as much of pressure as it is on like a Bachelor Nation couple to stay together, because it's lucrative, and, you know, opportunities come inside of Bachelor Nation if you're like royalty, and, you know, but I don't know. It just seemed like also Bachelor like Nation, not like us on our side, maybe more of like the producers and creators. They weren't really pushing them. Like I didn't really see them like, you know.
I feel like they got bored by them because they were just so solid and not really like toxic.
Yeah.
And so I feel like maybe they didn't like try to push them as much as like some of these other love stories or some of these other things. And plus their season had like a lot of couples, I felt like. Well, maybe not as many than the season before that, but they had like a decent amount, and they had other drama and things. So I feel like maybe with the whole like swappy, that I think, they wanted to like really try to milk, like, look what they overcame. But for them, they were just so solid. Like there wasn't even like, I don't know. Maybe they just weren't dramatic enough for them.
Yeah. I mean, maybe they were also too on top of what their image looked like. Honestly, it didn't look natural. Like, I'll tell you what, like, to me, their love story didn't seem natural to me. Like, it was like the show started and they were together. Like, they
were very lovey-dovey. Like, I definitely, I don't think like I can relate to that much. I just think that's just not how I process those kinds of things.
Like Serena and Joe.
Yeah.
Oh, am I calling her Serena? Serena and Joe, you could see their story happen. Now, on top of that, you have like Kendall coming in and trying to like,
that's the thing. It's like, that's like, that adds to it. And I think in these situations, we're used to some area of conflict to make it make
what
sense.
If this is all a plot to get them back on the beach to do something similar?
But I don't know. That'd be crazy. I mean, but it wouldn't.
To me, I feel like they do this type of stuff to get a trip to the beach and be on TV and get another year of like, followers or something like that. I don't know. I would see that happening, but we'll have to see how
but that doesn't seem their style, like them specifically.
I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, I guess it's sad news in Bachelor Nation. Everyone assumed they were going to be together forever. I don't know. Maybe it's just me to go back to my original point, but it just seemed like Brandon was just like head over heels. Like,
he's definitely, but that's even how he was on Michelle's season. Like that is his vibe. He's like a little lovesick puppy.
Right. And I sometimes feel like the slow burn is a beautiful thing, I know specifically, and I can get, we're all in relationships. We can get sick of our partners sometimes. Like, it's just like, we're on top of each other. We're annoyed sometimes with different things, but here it is. She flew out for, like, my girlfriend flew out for a day, and, I find myself missing her just because like she's gone for a day. And, that's kind of what I mean, like, me having my own hobbies and being very busy with acting and doing all this stuff gives her space to focus on her improv or, trying to pass classes and certifications. And at the end of it all, like, sometimes I'll be like, man, am I so busy that I'm not like seeing her so much? But it's like, I don't know. I look forward to like seeing someone when you kind of have like things in between that are kind of, you have your own life as well, I don't know. Some people might disagree. Maybe they want to be on top of each other with their partner all the time, doing everything.
Some people do. Not my style, but some people do.
Well, I would have to say, I hope, the best for both of them. I'm sure they'll both be fine. They're both good looking people with good personalities. So, we'll just have to see how that goes. Anything, what's going else? What else is going on?
A different, much smaller scale breakup. There was a couple who got together who in Bachelor Nation that we talked about, like, I think it was either earlier this year or late last year. But it's Spencer, who was Tayshia's first impression rose, and who then ended up not making it much further. And Samantha Jeffries, she was on Clayton's season, and they recently broke up as well. They were an attractive looking couple too, but you didn't hear much about them. They were an interesting little meetup. But couples could be forming as we speak over in Canada, because the premiere of Canada Bachelor in Paradise season 2 happened this past week. It looks like it looks almost like they shoot it semi different or light it or something different. Like the trailer that I watched, like, didn't feel as Bachelor-y, or maybe it's just because like they don't lean into the goofiness as much. It felt a little bit more like messy and spicy. And it definitely looks interesting. I guess the host she is from Juan Pablo's season, and then they have Kevin, who was on Bachelor in Paradise season 5. They have him in there as the bartender. And that's on City TV, which, if you want,
because he's from Canada, right?
Huh?
Because he's from Canada. Yeah. I mean, they got, like, I think what they're doing is trying to bring over, like character, like Demi is gonna be in this season of Bachelor.
Yeah, Demi's gonna arrive on the beach. They have like they start off with some like actual like folks from the America seasons and stuff like that, like Katsu Connor and what's the tall model one? What's her name? Chelsea, I think. I don't remember.
Yeah.
They've got some of those folks, and then some of like the lesser known folks from like Michelle's and Katie seasons and stuff like that. So definitely they're picking from like the random.
I wish I could be like a Canadian that watches Bachelor Canada and all the other ones, and then seeing like really feeling like what it's like to have like the American show bleed into ours. Like, is it exciting? Do they like it? Or
are they like whatever?
Yeah, like they're like, who are these people? Like, just kind of like when like.
But do you think they probably also watch like our regular Bachelor, like our regular? I shouldn't
That's
say
what
that,
I'm
like,
saying. Like, I wish I could be like a true Canadian just for this perspective
Yeah,
of The Bachelor.
I know,
because like you know, when we have other people like I like the foreign people coming into ours, but they just don't seem like they are as appealing to our American cast, you know? Like
sometimes they are. I feel like sometimes the dudes are, because the girls will be like the accent.
Yeah, in that sense.
But they're not as incestual. I feel like some of this shit really thrives off of being like incestual. Like you're already in the shit together.
Yeah. It's just funny how Bachelor Nation is separated by countries and all that stuff too. Like it just, you don't see too much bleed like through from the whole franchise. You know, like The Challenge, MTV's The Challenge. Now it's Paramount. It's CBS like has it and all that stuff. So they're doing like world things and crossovers and stuff. So it's like you're getting people from other countries, you know, bleeding into the actual show and stuff, where it just kind of expands the whole, you know, universe of that show. But I mean, we're talking about Bachelor in Paradise Canada. Maybe next break we should start watching them and
I know we need to get like a BPM.
Yeah. I mean, I could send you a link. But yeah, we'll look into that, because then we have like one of our commenters asking about doing Bachelor in Paradise.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah. So that might be fun. Okay. Well, anything else going on? What's going on, Bachelor Nation?
There was just, you know, it was a big weekend for, you know, Bachelor Nation home base of Nashville, which I feel like a lot of them are there. A lot of them are in San Diego, whatever. But we had Taylor Swift's Nashville shows were this past weekend, which one of them was like rain delayed, storm delayed, and she didn't end it until like nearly 2 a.m. And then a bunch of, you know, Bachelor Nation Nashville folks like Caitlin Bristow and Jason Tardik and Victoria Fuller and Greg Grippo, and a bunch of those folks went to that, as well as some of those similarly based folks went to the Kentucky Derby this past week as well, since, you know, pretty close. So it's funny to think that there's like truly like these pockets of Bachelor Nation, and Nashville is definitely a big one, as well as like LA, San Diego area.
Yeah, I mean, why Nashville, you think?
I feel like, I don't know why that's become like, I feel like that was like kind of the first, like LA makes sense. I feel like a bunch of them move out to LA, but for some reason I feel like a lot of them end up in Nashville. I think some of them who are trying to be musicians. I think some of them who, I don't know, maybe still want to feel like a big fish in a little pond, just because Nashville, I mean, it's growing a ton now, but it wasn't as big as it is now. And I just think it's easier to be like the, you know, hot thing.
Yeah, I feel
Broadway.
like there's areas that are like expanding outside of California that are similar to like the LA vibe, like their own thing though. Like, you know, Atlanta I feel like is growing like that, Nashville's growing like that, Houston's growing like that. Like, you know, there's these different areas, and that's cool because it's like now you can be like, all right, I like the vibes here, but I want to switch it up. So you go to somewhere else, you know. Nashville is still like pretty reasonably, you can get to things still too. Like, you know, it's like 2 hours from here.
Right. Well, it's like 3-ish, 4-ish hours.
Yeah. But I mean, that's nothing. So, Taylor Swift, man, making her rounds. People really loving that Taylor Swift. She's so hot right now.
I mean, her show is supposed to be incredible. So
really?
Yeah, I'm sad that I missed it. I'm sad I had to sell my ticket off, but
damn. Did you make any money?
Well, no, because I just gave it. I like sold it to a friend, so then it was more like the money was the same.
Damn. Because that's a money making ticket right there. If you couldn't go.
Oh yeah. I sold it to Kate. Fair enough. She ended up going like with our friends.
Yeah,
so.
Makes sense. Well, yeah, that's what's up. That's pretty much it for Bachelor Nation stuff, right?
Yep.
The only other thing that I was seeing was like Clayton was talking about being interested in Jess from this last
Isn't
season.
he engaged to his man?
Clayton?
Oh, did I say Clayton? No, not Clayton. I guess I thought about what's his name? Why am I? I'm thinking all these white dudes who have been our bachelors who look the same with their mashed potato
Why
faces.
am I blanking on it right now too? It's not Clayton. Colton. God, dude.
Clayton said he
what
was
is wrong with us, man?
That's
We've been
right.
doing this show for too
I thought we talked about
long.
that last week.
What's that?
I thought we talked about Clayton being interested in Jess like some other time.
No, I don't think we did. I think we talked about the girls' trip though, right?
We did.
Yeah, and but I didn't even realize it, but Jess is really hot. Like,
I feel like she wore weird outfits or like did her makeup or something weird ways when she was on Zach's season.
dude, she was a sleeper all the way until she left. Like, you know, that's why it was so weird when she left. I'm like, she literally, all right, this is the way I'm gonna explain it, but it seemed like she was kind of at the bottom of the pecking order of the contestants when she was there. Right. You know, why she was getting in her head and all that stuff. But
right.
But I think like the reason why it was such a big deal is because like she actually was like a top contender because she's like super hot, you know what I'm saying? And like, you know, sometimes the TV doesn't translate that well. Like, you know, if I see someone on TV or in real life, like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, you know, a girl could be wearing like very baggy clothes and some guys just like can be like, I can kind of assume what's underneath here. Like she's what she might be working with, you know? And, I think that's kind of like the same kind of scenario that was happening with Jess. Like, cause I just didn't see it. And now I'm seeing these pictures of her like out, like, you know, with the girls and all that stuff. I'm like, damn, like that girl, like if she looked like this, like in the beginning, I would have thought she would have made it to the end. But
yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I agree. Cause like, I feel like I've looked at her Instagram, which obviously like people can edit and do whatever and like definitely know their angles and poses and shit for like Instagram. But like, yeah, I felt like even from like the videos and stuff, I'm like, she just doesn't.
I didn't know she had body. That's all I'm trying to say is like, she's got body. She's like, not just that, but she's beautiful. And I don't know, like maybe it's a glow up, post-show glow up.
I mean,
we've seen it happen before. But yeah, anyways, that happened. So interesting little combo to end it right there. What do you guys think? I don't know. Like, did you know that Jess was super hot or attractive or whatever way you want to?
Was a hidden baddie.
Hidden baddie. How do you feel about Serene and Brandon's breakup? Were you sad? Did you see it coming? I thought I did. Should we do Bachelor in Paradise Canada season? You know, on the off season here. Should we recap that? Let us know what you guys think. Would you be interested in that? Did you know who Sam and Spencer were? Because I still don't. I'm gonna have to Google what they look like. But we're giving you what we got. You know what I'm saying? So, guys, leave a comment. Let us know what you think. Make sure you're also finding our podcast. I forgot to shout that out at the beginning, but we got the podcast for y'all. This past week, it was blowing up for some reason. I don't know. Sometimes, like, those spikes happen, and I'm like, what was it? Like, you know, that brings all these people. But we were up, like, 250% or something like that. In the month. So guys, keep finding the podcast. You get to listen to more. If you enjoy this, then you're getting pretty much like double, if not triple the show on the podcast audio portion of it. So let us know what you think. Leave a comment. We'll shout you out next week. And that'll do it.
Future Bachelor Podcast.